Did you? You have to go to the Gmail. Mhm. Got it? Okay.
तो तरी दिसायला पाहिजे. Yes.
Yes, good.
आता तो हे कर.
And
आता setting
settings.
कर.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Eco cancelling खालचं USB. Save. So 1, 2. Now you are going to see only round number. इसके बाद 4 all 4 5. अरे यार क्या कम्युनिकेशन समझते नहीं कि बैठ सब लोग को इधर गड़बड़ है. क्या मैनेजमेंट है तुम्हारा? एक दो लोग बताए आपने बताना चाहिए ना. अभी so 8, 9, 10. You can talk because that's a big share. पांचवा को तो चेयर ले लो. पांचवा को तो पीछे से चार वाले को चलिए स्पीकर ला लगा. So Raj.
Yeah, I'm right here.
So the people are sitting as per the plan which we discussed last time.
Okay.
So on this side there is 1 to 7.
Okay. Okay.
Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
There are 12 teams.
Yeah.
8, 9, and 11 and 12.
Okay. Perfect. Oh, that's excellent. Good. So the other thing, Shashi, is can you do you have a second laptop and projector going?
No, not really. I just found out.
Okay, then we'll just use just one presentation, one screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
It's, just a second. Attendance. Hey, sit with these two teams. This is your team. People will go sit together. Do you have any? So team number 1, the 2 guys are absent. And what is the reason? What is that? He had gone home. Raj, just hold on for 5 minutes. I again want to take. Just hold on for 5 minutes. Guys, this is not. And these reasons are absolutely basic. You have to take responsibility of your colleagues. And you can't give this reason to a खाना खा के आ रहा है, और वो वहाँ जाके आ रहा है. If everybody is managing their own times and state, he is managing his time. I am coming in the weekends to manage my time. And we are here before you guys. Never we are late. We are never late. We are here 15 minutes earlier. I am here at later. You guys are still like, alright, what do you know? और करीब परसों हमारी बात हो रही थी, कोई बात हो रही थी. The discipline in terms of the students is absolutely bad. They are not fearing anybody. Fearing का छोड़ो, respect भी नहीं. Fearing तो नहीं करना है. But there is no respect for the other people's time, other people's effort. See here now. क्या चक्कर है?
Pressure. No. Class work. So.
Numbers. You don't know.
Okay.
One person. Here, one person of the team. 550 was the time given. Again, the people giving it. क्यों आपका क्या प्रॉब्लम क्या था और कितनी बार बताना चाहिए? बट क्या है ये समझ नहीं आता. इज द टाइम, इज द टाइम 550 आपने कोई टाइम नहीं होता ना. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय 550? इज द फ्लेक्सिबल स्ट्रेचेबल टाइम? व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन? बीआरसी डेफिनेशन है क्या? इसे बीआरसी डेफिनेशन की 5 बजे बोला तो हम लोग 6 बजे आएंगे, 5:30 बजे आएंगे. बाहर में चलता होगा बीआरसी, यहाँ तो नहीं चलेगा. मैं साफ साफ बोल रहा हूँ. इफ यू वांट टू, अभी मैं 3 बार रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा. आई कैन रिक्वेस्ट ओनली 3 टाइम्स. फिर 2 बार बाहर खड़ा रहा, तीसरे बार भी प्यार से रिक्वेस्ट कर. अब नहीं है तो 14 बार तो मैं दूसरा बाहर. आई डोंट केयर. यू डोंट रिस्पेक्ट, व्हाई शुड आई रिस्पेक्ट? देयर इज नो रीजन फॉर दैट. कोई रीजन नहीं है. कोई ऐसे कि आप यहाँ पे आपके आर यू डूइंग अ फेवर टू अस? आई डोंट थिंक यू आर डूइंग अ फेवर टू अस. Everybody is doing their part. We are not doing favor to you also. We are doing our part of duty which is assigned to us. And we have taken that duty as a call of duty. VNIT Alumni Association, and we have taken that call. And we are responding to that call. As a students, you have to do your part of the duty. ये क्या क्लास है, उसका ये है, उसका 5 बजे ये देखो. Last time also you came late. You wait, चलो go out. There is no need. No need. आज से no, just go. There is no need. No need. Please. Enough of the all that exercise. We don't have to have this kind. 50 time was given. ये क्या last time also you came late. Were you in the time? And I know my memory is very sharp. We are sitting in that corner, and you absolutely less 25 minutes after the class. और आज अभी क्या टाइम है आपके घड़ी में? What's the time? 6:05. क्या टाइम दिया था? 5:50. What do you mean by 15 minutes late? On whose account? It's very clear for me and clear to us. Even if there are 5 students, they are fine. कोई गड़बड़ नहीं ना. Even 5 students, if they are genuinely interested in 5 students, it's fine. We don't have to have a class. ऐसा कोई क्लास का कोई हम, do I get a certificate out of that? Am I going to be rated in the college? Is my salary dependent on this? Is my earning dependent on this? कुछ भी नहीं. I don't mind you speaking only to 8 people. Not a problem. Absolutely कोई issue नहीं. But this is not done. एक बार बताने के बाद में 2 बार बताने के बाद में 3 बार, now it's too clear. and still the situation, nothing has changed. And I'm telling you right again, whatever that time is told, we not understand all of it. नहीं आना है तो मत आओ, कोई हरकत नहीं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, एब्सोल्युटली नो इशू, एब्सोल्युटली नो इशू। मैं 2 लड़के होंगे तो 2 लड़के, कोई इशू नहीं। और आपको जो भी क्लासेस करना है, एडजस्ट करना है, वो एडजस्ट करके करो। And if this is a team activity, what's the point? What do you mean by sorry? It's like a hollow word for you? Huh? Or are you little bit responsible to yourself when you say sorry? बस बोल दिया, अभी आगे चल के आप बाद में देखेंगे, आना है तो आएंगे, नहीं तो नहीं आएंगे। This is the kind of thing which we are doing. I can go back to the city and लोगों को क्या बात करेंगे आगे चल के टाइम पे आना कैंपस के अंदर ही समिति हो रहा है, and if they cannot manage their own time table. I am speaking in front of class, so the class has to listen, and he has to carry this impression back. This is the 3rd time in front of the people were outside. What about your team? आप लोग तो बताइए. My sincere request to you, because that's the class. So please, my sincere request to you, absolutely no issues. I am not going to be graded by your attendance. So my request is just go out, have a nice time, chai coffee, जो भी करना है. I am sincere. I don't have any ऐसा कुछ नहीं. This guy has run the people of 5,000 people company. I have run the 5,000 people. We never tolerate this kind of thing. In professional world, we don't tolerate. I don't allow any person coming late 1 week in my professional office for able to do this to him. और जाना है तो पूछ लो नोएडा ऑफिस, पूछ लो उनको, अभी जरा मार्केट ऑफिस, ask them. And this is for last मालूम शशिकांत चौधरी ने टाइम दिया, वो टाइम का मतलब क्या होगा? It's not like I am saying right now. 15 years. There's a following. और आपको नहीं करना है तो मत करो. So don't waste the time. Please just अभी आगे चल के आना है तो आओ, वो भी टाइम पे आना है तो आओ, अदरवाइज नहीं. ठीक है? Sorry, Raj, but then this was just going out of the whack. I mean, absolutely, completely indisciplined lot, and that has unfortunately become a VNIT culture now. I have to admit, this was not the case. But sorry for the this thing. But if we want, see, you told me that this is a serious course. And if these guys are not serious enough, then why we should be really spending all this time and money? Both. Chalo, let's get started, Raj. Sorry for that.
Okay. I think Professor Shashi gave a very important message, which is that entrepreneurs have to be self-motivated and very disciplined. So you have to know how to prioritize your time. You have to know how to organize your activities. You have to plan for everything, because if you, as the entrepreneur who's starting the company, who has put all his career and his and his personal success, everything you put at stake based on your company succeeding, and then how can you be sloppy? Because if you're sloppy, all your employees are going to be sloppy. So, you have time is the most important element for a startup. It's time to market, time to get everything done, time to beat the competition. Time is your only friend, and it can also become your only enemy if you are indisciplined and don't prioritize and so on. So, we're not asking you to do too much work, but we are asking you to develop the skills to become successful in life. You know, we think the reason we are putting in all this effort, was Shashi and me and the rest, is because we think you guys are going to be the next leaders of business in Nagpur and in India, and maybe in the globe also. And that's why we are putting in this effort. But have you ever seen a leader who's not disciplined? He knows exactly what he wants to get achieved. Okay, so let's get going. You should have spent the last week meeting with your teams and getting your BMC done. So now we are going to the next step, which is to figure out how to validate whether the assumptions that you made in your BMC are correct. And that is a process called customer discovery. So what we're going to be doing right now is learning how the process of customer discovery is done. This is probably the most important part of an entrepreneur's job. Trying to figure out, what customer need is there, what customer pain is there, who is the customer, uh, and so on. So we are trying to discover who this customer is, who's going to pay money for your product, who's going to enjoy using your product, and so on. Okay, so let's go on to the presentation, and I'm going to share the presentation on the screen. Can you see the screen? You can see the screen, correct? Okay. So on the screen, you see that there are two big boxes. On the left-hand side is something called search. On the right-hand side is a box called execution. So when an entrepreneur comes up with a new idea that he thinks, will make a wonderful company, essentially, most entrepreneurs are so excited about it because they think, oh, automatically, like everybody's going to start using this product, and he's going to build a great big company. So they jump into this process called company building. Yes.
We are not able to see a slideshow over here. Again, the
Oh,
same
you cannot see it?
No.
Okay, let me start again.
Yeah, or maybe then if that's not possible.
No, it should be possible. It's going to be possible. Uh, can you see the screen now?
I mean, we are able to see the screen. That's not an issue, but it's not in the slide mode. It's like just in a PPT mode. But maybe what you can do is, if that's a scenario, you can use the mouse and maybe a little more narrative where you are pointing. That could help.
Okay. So, oh, you're not seeing the actual graphic, you're saying?
No, graphics we are able to see. It's not in the slideshow mode.
Okay.
It's only as if we start putting something on the slide. It's not a slideshow mode.
Okay, you're not seeing the full screen.
No.
Okay.
I mean, we are able to see the full screen, but not in the slideshow mode.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay. So if I move it like this, can you see that I'm circling customer discovery?
Yeah. So you'll have to use a little bit of narrative as to what is there on the screen, so that even if the people are not able to read clearly, they will know what you're talking about.
Okay. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so basically when an entrepreneur starts, I'll start from the beginning again. So when an entrepreneur comes up with an idea, he's so convinced that it's a wonderful idea that he immediately wants to jump into something called company building. When he starts, designing the product, he starts designing, hiring people. He starts kind of, planning how to get his factory going, and even starts raising money for doing all of these activities. On the other hand, what happens is that, the customer who's going to buy the product, uh, he is not still properly characterized. What I mean by that is, the customer may not really be ready for the product as the entrepreneur has visualized. So, so basically, what ends up happening is that, 1 year goes by, the entrepreneur has built his product, and then he takes it to the market, and he does a big launch. He hires salespeople, and he does a big launch, and he finds that customers are not interested. And what he thought was going to be a killer product turns out to be a product that doesn't really appeal to the customer, and for whatever reason, and the customer doesn't buy a product. So essentially, 1 year of hard work, money, all the employees that have been hired, everything goes to waste, and the company fails, right? So, so basically, we've come up with a process where we actually first focus on doing customer discovery and customer validation. And that is probably the most important phase for an entrepreneur, because till the customer discovery has been done and that customer has been validated, there is no point in going ahead and writing a business plan, raising a whole bunch of money, hiring employees, and then starting to build products, etc. Just to make this whole thing very real, I'll give an example of probably one of the most amazing mistakes, in a sense, that was made in this entrepreneurial journey. So actually, the person who made this mistake, that is world famous right now, was done by a friend of mine, and he was a brilliant, brilliant IIT Delhi engineer, and his name is Peter Raylan. So in 1997, Peter Raylan came up with the idea that why don't we provide online delivery of grocery? Now, many of you have got similar similar project ideas, but he came up with this idea 18 years before you guys. So he came up with the idea of online delivery of grocery. And he quickly multiplied the numbers and said that, now nobody has to go to the grocery store, park the car, get in the shop, be only limited to the products that the shop has got. So it's a limited choice, and the prices will be high because shops might have because shops have to pay for the land, etc. And essentially, he said, if I can put a system together so that people can do online ordering of grocery, and then I can have a van deliver the product, then the whole world is going to stop going to a grocery store to buy grocery. So he came up with that idea, and he quickly calculated how big the market was for his company. So he said every week, at least in America, customers spend about $200 for grocery for a family of 4 people, and there are 52 weeks. So that is about $10,000 is spent each year, and there are about 100 million families. So this is going to be $100 billion business, is the size of the market. And when he went and presented his business plan to venture capitalists, they said, "Wow, what a wonderful idea!" And in no time at all, he raised $800 million. Most people struggle to raise $80,000. He raised $800 million. And once he raised the money, they hired all the top people, all the top engineers, all the top marketing people, all the top sales people, started building 8 different warehouses. And when he launched the product, after 2 years of development, customers did not care for it. They liked it, they liked the service, but they would not order anything. So they said, "Great idea, but I'm not going to order anything." And in 3 years, the company went bankrupt. So imagine a startup that spends $800 million and goes bankrupt in 3 years flat out. So basically, the mistake that Peter Raylan made was he never really understood what the customer issues were with online ordering. And what is a sad thing is that at the same time that he received $800 million to start his company, 2 other entrepreneurs received smaller amounts of money, about $10 million each. And these people obviously could not go and rush and build their companies. So they did it one small step at a time. And today, 15 years later, both of those companies are over $1 billion worth. So you can see that sometimes when you rush in, because you think you've got all the money in the world, you actually end up with a big failure. So customer discovery and customer validation are probably the most important thing that an entrepreneur can do. So the entrepreneur essentially, says, "Hey, Mr. Customer, what do you think of this product?" And the customer will give some feedback. Then you go to another customer and say, "What do you think of this product?" He'll give you another feedback. So as he gets different feedback, he says, "I've got to change my idea a little bit. I got to change my idea from whatever I was planning. I've got to change it a little bit." And if you remember in the BMC reviews that we did, you got a lot of customer discovery feedback from me and Professor Shashi and others, and the other students. So So you can see that, you can have an idea, you can discuss it in your team, but you have to really see real customers in order to go ahead and validate. So every time you change your business model based on feedback, it's called pivoting. So we pivot in order to figure out, how to get our business model more and more correct. Okay. Are there any questions about customer discovery? Did you all understand the importance of customer discovery and what we are trying to do in customer discovery? Okay. Great. Okay. So once you have gone ahead and talked to enough customers, you'll find that there will be some small set of customers who show more and more interest in your product. As they show more and more interest in your product, you can ask them a lot of questions, and you can start understanding their pain, their requirements, etc. And as a consequence, you can start figuring out your business model canvas and the block in particular about the customer segment. So customer segments and value proposition is what you're going to figure out as you do a lot of customer design. Okay. Now, one of the things. So basically, what can you see the slide? Sorry. Can you see my slide, types of business models?
Yes, sir.
You can see it, right? Okay, very good. So as you start your customer discovery process, the first thing that you have to figure out is what kind of business model you are going to build your company on. So, most companies fall into these 3 plus 4, 7 different business models, actually 8, which is the last one is the Uber model. So there are 8 different types of business models that most companies fall into. So, basically, for most of you right now, I would say that your business model is a customer relationship type of a business. Some of you have got a product innovation business, and I think maybe 1 or 2 are infrastructure businesses. So let me go ahead and ask each of you, which of you has got a product innovation kind of business? Tell me. Okay, why don't you tell us what your business is? Which one is it? What's the name of your company?
Yeah. Sir. Hello. Sir, our company is called Bullion, and we aim to provide switches. We want to change the design of switchboards in order to help automation. Bring automation in the market. Bring automation in modern homes.
Right. So you're basically trying to actually do a real innovation. So clearly you're doing a product innovation business. Who is doing product infrastructure kind of business? Is anybody doing an infrastructure business?
So what does that mean, infrastructure business model?
Okay, so basically infrastructure can be hardware or software. So, for example, if you are in the real estate business, if you're constructing apartments, that's obviously infrastructure. If you're in the equipment business and you're providing, oil refinery equipment, you're providing semiconductor equipment, again, it's infrastructure business. If you're in the software business, then if you think about it, Selectica was in the infrastructure business because all companies need to have ordering, they need pricing, they need configuring, they need order management. So they need all of these functions are necessary, correct? And they are already doing these functions, but we came up with a better way to do order entry. We came up with a better way to do pricing. We came up with a better way to do, order management. So we changed the infrastructure of their IT system. Okay, so infrastructure is where you go ahead and change a lot of business processes or equipment in a company to manufacture whatever products they're doing. Or you provide facilities. If you're into bridge building, of course you're in infrastructure. So if you look at people like Larsen and Toubro, they're a massive infrastructure company, and every time Prime Minister Modi decides to invest 1,000 crore or 1 lakh crore, as he decided to do in Bihar, he starts a lot of infrastructure projects which entrepreneurs and existing companies can decide to provide, right? So that's infrastructure. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. What is
Okay, perfect. So customer relation, anybody in the infrastructure business?
What would be software-based infrastructure project on the microphone? Hello? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, stand up, stand.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, what is software-based infrastructure project? What is this?
So what's the software-based infrastructure?
Yeah.
So the question was, what is the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so in order to run any business, you need a lot of software, right? So you need a accounting package for running your finance. You need an ERP system to run your manufacturing, enterprise resource planning to run your manufacturing. You need a sales order management to run your sales department. You need a customer relationship management to provide customer care for your customers, right? So you need an inventory management system to manage your inventory. You need an order management system. So these are all blocks in the IT infrastructure of running a company, right? And every company already has that. On the other hand, there is a lot of innovation that is possible. For example, when Selectica, we launched Selectica, we said, till now you were doing all of your IT processes for running your company, like customer relationship management, sales order management, manufacturing ERP system. You're doing all of that on client server systems. And suddenly the internet became very popular, and the internet provides new capabilities that we can offer to our customers. If I move a particular infrastructure building block from client server to internet, so I moved order management as a function or pricing as a function from a client server system. I created an internet-based pricing system, an internet-based ordering system, internet-based configuration system, and obviously it was much better in terms of functionality and benefits. And That's how we would sell our product for several $1 million. Okay? So that's how an infrastructure startup comes along. Any other questions?
Actually, we feel, hello,
Yes.
we feel that company is in multiple business models, like part in this, part in that. So could you just brief up all the business models little by little, so it would be easier to decide?
Sure. So basically, like, obviously we are going to understand all the different kinds of business models and what their. But the thing is that every entrepreneur has to decide, what is his primary kind of business model innovation. Okay. Anyway, so let's go through the slide material. So you'll see that uh, you'll see that there are three kinds of business models for core businesses. So you have the customer relationship business. So customer relationship business is uh, actually one way to minimize voice reflection is to go ahead and mute your microphone. Okay, I think it's going to be better now. Mute the microphone on the Logitech box.
Yeah, I've muted that.
Okay, so now it should be better. Okay, so so basically, like there are three main business models for core businesses. So customer relationship business, product innovation business, and infrastructure business. So customer relationship business is where essentially you're changing the relationship between the customer and the product or service that is delivered. So if you look at it, uh, Google search, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Flipkart, Amazon, these are all customer relationship businesses. So if you look at it, let's take a look at Flipkart. In Flipkart's case, the customer relationship for doing grocery shipping or electronic shipping was you had to go to a store and then a salesman there would convince you about a particular product, take your order, and then they would ship the product. Now the customer relationship has changed. You just go to the website of Flipkart, you decide what product you want, and then the product gets delivered to your home. So the customer relationship moved from an offline business to an online business, from a person-to-person relationship to a web-to-person relationship. So the customer relationship changed. Uh, if you look at it, if you start basically watching videos or movies on something like Tata Sky versus watching movies in a movie theater, again, the customer relationship changed, right? So now you can choose your entertainment online or from your set-top box versus going ahead and physically going to the movie theater to watch your movie. You can watch it on multiple devices, so the whole relationship of between you and the vendor changed. So most of the companies that you guys are proposing are in changing the customer relationship. And this is a complete change from where innovation and entrepreneurship used to be till about 20 years ago. Till the internet came along, and then the smartphones came along, and then so till all of these facilities came along, essentially there was no opportunity to change the customer relationship. So all we had to go ahead and do product innovation businesses or infrastructure businesses. For example, my first company, Dino, I had to make chips. I had to develop the fastest chipset or the lowest power chipset or the chipset with the uh, very interesting set of features. So basically, I was in the product innovation business. With Selectica, I was in the product infrastructure business because I did not have any option to start a consumer customer relationship business. But if you think of Dino, my third company, that's a customer relationship business because we let people enjoy ethnic video channels no matter in which country they are. So the relationship between how TV content was provided to a user changed. So you can see that the three different kinds of business models, um, there can be many, an entrepreneur can do all three as I did it. But in this day and age, the easiest opportunity is to develop customer relationship businesses because all the platforms are already in place for you to do it, so that for you to develop your product is quite easy. So the next important thing to understand about business model, and I'm going to put up the slide. Can you see the slide? Okay. So the next important thing to understand is something called the long tail. So for most entrepreneurs, the best opportunities for entrepreneurship come in the long tail. Uh, the long tail is basically businesses that are very small right now, but which are very targeted at very specific need for some unique customers. So you're not targeting, the main market. You're not targeting the market for tomatoes or for you know tomatoes or for televisions or for automobiles, but you're targeting a very small niche. So instead of providing tomatoes, if an entrepreneur decides to enter the grocery business, he might decide to provide organic tomatoes, or he might even decide to provide organic tomatoes that are heritage tomatoes, tomatoes that are not modified by something called a GMO, or something that does not use fertilizer, or something that is grown in a certain shape or size, yellow tomatoes or orange colored tomatoes. So basically, the entrepreneur targets the long tail, and because he targets the long tail, only very few people would be interested in the product, but they are willing to pay a lot of money to get that particular unique product. So the people who buy organic vegetables will typically pay 2 times the price of buying a normal tomato or a normal cucumber or a normal eggplant, right? So the long tail essentially targets very specific need for a small number of customers. And the beautiful thing for entrepreneurs today is that you can reach all the customers who need long tail just by putting your product on these e-commerce platforms and then letting people who are interested in it search for it. So they find you rather than you having to find them. So it's something called a pull model or a push model for getting your product out there. The advantage is that your marketing cost obviously comes down, your sales cost comes down, and you even sometimes get paid before you even ship the product. So the long tail market has been enabled by all the new platforms. So if you look at platform like Flipkart and Amazon, uh, most people there buy televisions and toothpaste and things like that. Standard off-the-shelf product, commodity products. However, there are 99.999% of the product that's available on Flipkart targets people with very unique needs. So Amazon and Flipkart and others actually have probably 10 or 20 or 100 million different products that are available to buy, and they target very small niche customers. And as a consequence, businesses that would not have been viable without this platform are now viable, because if somebody wants to go ahead and purchase all the art books, which are more than 200 years old, from maybe all the 192 countries in the world, uh, he could not go to all the different shops in 192 countries. But if he goes to uh, Amazon, he can do a search and he can get it from all those countries automatically. From the one shop in Indonesia that sells it, the one shop in New Zealand that sells it, the one shop in Russia that sells it. So you can see that long tail has enabled a million businesses to succeed, which would not have succeeded without the e-commerce platform that exists right now. And for an entrepreneur, that's a wonderful thing, because it's a niche market. He is not attacked by people who have got massive sales organizations and massive amount of money, etc. And he can slowly and carefully build up his customer base and have a nice profitable business. Now, what's interesting is that with the proper marketing and promotion, sometimes the long tail becomes the main business. And when the long tail becomes the main business, it becomes a gigantic company, right? Because it's profitable, the existing competitors cannot compete, and that entrepreneur has built his company and become the leader in that thing. So, for example, if you think of Facebook, Facebook, used to provide basically, oh no, let's take something like Skype. Skype used to provide, uh, basically audio video conferencing between people in different countries. And now Skype has become one of the most popular ways of talking to each other on, across the globe, and has become a massive business. So that's Skype. In just about all the businesses, if you look at entertainment, now, you can see that Facebook provides a lot of entertainment in a very unique way for a lot of people, because they can connect with their friends and family all over the world. Uh, and the thing is that now people are spending all their time on Facebook rather than some other entertainment like reading books and so on. So you can see that the long tail, once it becomes mainstream, it becomes a massive business and becomes some of the richest companies. So Uber is another example where essentially it allowed people to go ahead and find transportation wherever they wanted as quickly as they could find it on through using their app. And now it has become the main way that people go from place to place anywhere in America. And very soon the same thing is going to happen in 100 different countries. And that's why Uber is so successful. Same thing with the hotel business, the low-end hotel business. You can see that Oyo has transformed the low-end hotel business in India, and something that was the long tail, because all these small hotels had very hard time filling their rooms because nobody knew who they were, where they were, whether they were any quality or not. And now, because they are OYO registered companies, they are becoming mainstream. They are becoming easily bookable and reservable, and you can even check the quality and so on. And Oyo, which was supposed to be a very tiny long tail company, is becoming a mainstream company. So did let's take a look at again your projects and figure out which of your projects are going to launch on a long tail basis. Does anybody want to go ahead and explain how the company is going to be initially a long tail company? Okay, so why don't I give you guys each of the project teams? Why don't you talk for about 3 minutes and as a group, and then figure out which business model you are and whether what is going to be your long tail strategy. Okay, so we'll give you 3 minutes.
So Raj, can you bring up that slide so that we can just refer to that slide?
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's start with scene number 9. Can we have team number 9 come to the front and then tell me about, what your business model is and how you'll use long tail.
You can
Uh, good, good evening, sir. So first about my plan. So good morning, sir. Good evening, sir. So what I got about long tail plans. First about my plan. So our plan is getyourtutor.com. So get your tutor. So what happens is whenever mother wants her child to get to learn new things. So what she does is she may ask the neighbors, do you know any tutor who is locally situated? So yeah, the neighbor will provide her some suggestions. Maybe she will ask the other kids' mother, where do you send your children? So what we are going to do is we are going to provide an online portal that will which will give you suggestion about the tutors. So the tutors may be local, they may not be local. So suppose the tutor is not local. So what our portal will do, it will provide you tutor. The tutor will give a virtual class to all the students that have registered for the tutor, for the particular tutor. So this cut down the charges though. So the hustle in finding a tutor is being reduced. This will cut down the charges, as the local teachers, they charge way too much, so they will cut down the charges, and this will also give a flexibility in the timing. So when you go to a local teacher, so there is a timing constraint there. You have to go from 4 to 6. But when something is becoming online, there is no time constraint. So you can give your time, like I want to study from 11 to 12. So the tutor will see to it.
Okay, so I understand it. Now the question is like, how do you find a way to use long tail marketing for your product? The reason why you want to use long tail marketing is that online tutoring is a business that has been going on now for about 15 years,
Yeah.
right?
So
So you have to come up with something that is required by a very small number of people, and try to provide that service to that small number of people, and then figure out how you're going to get there.
yeah, I
So
got it. So
what is it?
what's
Yeah.
there online is they always give you which tutors are located locally. So what I've seen online is they give you tutors. They may provide you courses, but they never provide an online tutor that will teach you. They never provide a chat rooms. There may be tutors available for specific courses, but there is not an online portal that has been made that provides you tutors for all the subjects, whichever subject you feel comfortable you are. So in short term, what we'll do, we'll be targeting the students of, we will be targeting the students from 10th, 11th, 12th. So we'll get that. So we'll hire this. We will hire these teachers ourselves to take them. We'll take the interviews. We have them. We'll take the test. We'll hire the teachers on personal interviews. So we'll get a team of teachers. We'll get a specific subjects that they are going to teach. So the subject range will be specific in the start. After that, the subject range and the number of teachers will increase as gradually.
Okay. So I'm seeing. You guys want to add some points?
Yeah, initially we want to start with a school, when with some school students, and after that we would expand later on to other graduates or other not other graduates, or maybe even primary level, if there is such facilities, if we foresee in future. So currently, as you told, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and later on we may expand to different categories. Like even we may jump into music, arts, For now, we are just going into physics, chemistry, and maths. Later on, as with time, we might expand to other other courses.
Okay, so again, the problem that I see is that, there are already people offering this kind of service. You start searching for it. So you have to figure out as an entrepreneur, if you want to get into the online tutoring market, is can you find some niche that a small number of people that they're not getting service right now.
So what I've seen for when a student wants to learn C programming, so there are so many courses available there online, but we never get a personal tutor that will teach you, because what happens in courses is you go there, you apply for the course, you enroll for the course. The course may contain 50% of the things that you may already know or you don't know. So to resolve that doubts, you go for another course, and this way there's a lot of time is being consumed. There are online courses. There is one more site, gotit.com, which clear your.
Is it fine if it's not working? Is it fine if it's not sounding?
Uh, so there is one more site called
Actually, in India, we don't find any this much interactive tutoring courses. There are different tutoring courses available in the US, with which there is a possibility of people, tutors from India are actually working. I'm one of them, but students in US are taking the use of this. But students of India, I don't think there are many. I don't think I didn't come across any tutoring website that actually students of India are taking use of it. For now, what we have, many schools have started smart classrooms. So those smart classrooms have access to internet, and so using that, we might have a platform where there can be live lectures in the class itself. As there are guest lectures happening in the college level, we can have guest lectures as well in the school level. So we want to have an online platform where we can connect schools initially. Later on, we can expand.
Hello. So there is one site called yourtutor.com. What it does in India, it provides you the details of the tutor, but it never allows the tutor to have to conduct a virtual class and teach the students. What it does, it gives you a list according to the subject. Got- According to the subject, gives you a list of the tutors that are available all across the India. So you have to call him personally. You have should ask him if it's nearby your local area. You have to call him personally. So there is not a platform that in which a tutor can have a virtual class, can conduct a virtual classroom with the students. So with our portal, there will be the options will be increased. So you are not limited to the local teachers. So you can go for any teacher across the India. So maybe you are in Mumbai, you can go for a teacher who is in Bangalore. Uh, that's the unique selling point for our style.
And uh, and the reason why we have tutors is it would be outsourced. Actually, we initially would hire a few teachers. We personally hire them, and after that, the hiring of tutors will be online. They would be having a few tests that they would attend online, and after that, they would need to have an interview with the tutors that we have, the teachers that we have personally talked to, and those people will try to interview, and that the chain will go on. And later on, it will be so like it will be so that the tutors will be attracted because they will be paid. So people, and when somebody is going to get paid, person who has passion, and he might be a student as well. So if there's no need of, there's no need of for them to have a qualification. They just need to have the passion and expertise in that course. So the tutors will be attracted in students, even students.
Okay. Okay, so what I would say is you should look for, see, when you enter a market that's already been around for a long time, there's a reason why people are doing the things the way they're doing it. So you have to first understand why they're doing things the way they're doing it, and then you got to figure out something that is a unique need that addresses specific unique things. So I can see that if you want to teach students in India, a lot of them have got weak English, and they would like a tutor who can teach them in English, but who can communicate them with them in their regional language. So if you're somebody from Tamil or you're somebody from Bengal or something, even though the class is run in English, you can talk to them in their native language, so that you can teach them, say, the math, etc., or physics and so on in dual language. So the thing is that you have to think of these kinds of unique needs that people have in order to enter the market. So that's how you can go into a market and target the long tail, right? And by doing that, all the main tutoring businesses that are out there, I don't think any of them try to address this particular need. And you'll find out that if you do this, you will actually, really be able to connect and provide better tutoring, because there's good communication between the student and the tutor. Okay, so you see how I'm taking tutoring and then taking a unique way that a multi-language country like India operates, and also multi-language. This multi-language applies all over the world. People from Iran want somebody who can, be able to talk to them in Persian, right? So, or Arabic, or whatever it is, or African. So you can see that there is a way by which you can go into a mainstream business, which is online tutoring, and you can figure out a long tail angle to it.
So, but I really believe that it's not mainstream in India.
I don't understand. Sorry. Again?
I really believe that it's not a mainstream business in India, but in the world, I really understand that this sort of business exists. But when it comes to India, such a business is not from mainstream. So even the concept itself might be new as a whole, but we definitely would like to implement the idea that you suggested us.
Oh, that's good. Just basically, when you start doing customer discovery, you will start, and we'll talk about more about customer discovery. You will figure out where exactly the opportunity is for you to get your online tutoring system off the ground. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's have a group 5.
Group 5.
Group 5. Okay, well, again, just explaining the point what what he was trying to tell in terms of the need is there. So what he was trying to tell you, why we should come to you, the customer, or maybe your differentiator is the way you are delivering the goods. Right? So that's a differentiator. USP is the online thing. Isn't it? But then maybe you are delivering model. Why we should come to you? Teaching English in the regional language is not a mechanism. Why the customer would come to you. So he's trying to address 2 points in one go. That's what is good. Yeah, keep on in back.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our model, I feel, is primarily customer relationships model. Our team name was Imagica. We had this interior design, Uberization,
Yes.
and all that model. So I feel this is primarily customer relationship model,
That's
and I'm still not very clear on all the points, but we are thinking that it falls small fragments of it falls into different models, but the major one is customer relationship, because because the backbone of the whole platform depends on customer relationship. First we get the customers to use our platform, and then other models, other our business models where we generate revenue, then they start. So that
So
way.
I want you to figure out which long tail you will target first.
It's long term. Professional opinions which is one that is we want to that we have only we have a very good established user base. Let's think of the mic and talk.
Good evening, sir. The long tail we will probably are looking for is in terms of having an established professional designer that might subscribe on our platform, and people who want to spend money would like to hire that professional for getting a particular customized style and implement that in their own homes or whatever space they want to modify.
Okay, so initially what you're saying is that rather than opening up the design to everybody, you will focus on getting 5 or 10 or 20 professional interior decorators that people would want to connect with, correct?
So once we have established a platform by getting a very good audience base, and once we have good crowdsourced designs, we would like to have professionals come in, wherein people can actually hire them by getting the subscribed professionals and get their homes modified in a specific type of design that they want.
Okay, so basically, like, when you look at long tail for Magica, what you have to think is, maybe the long tail I'm going to target is people who want to have, say, a very traditional, um, international look for their, want a very international look. So some people might want to design their living room in the Chinese fashion. Some people might want to design their living room in the Thai fashion. Some people want to design it in Italian fashion. So what you can do is you can target a very specific of the market by getting designers from international countries that will give them international flavor, right, to their houses. So
Uh,
that's one example. Go ahead.
Sir, actually, we plan to do this, but this will be not our primary model. This would be go secondary because the market is very niche for this. Like we'll have to identify the market and go to them, and that I think we'll need more experience in this all these things. So we'll do it, but that is on the secondary line. The primary, like maybe we'll do it 5 years down the line or 8 years down the line. But primarily, what we'll be focusing on when we'll be launching the product will be say non certified freelancers or like non degree holder designers who want to whose work is appreciable and it gets recognized through our platform, and like they get paid and the cut of it comes to us. So just the people who have the hobby and say caliber of designing, they design and get paid for it, and this we just connect them to actual people who need the service, and will be charging them a small fees out of that.
Okay, so basically you want to target basically the entry level market. Yeah.
Yeah, entry level market first.
So it's that's a strategy to target the entry level market, low end market, etc. And that's a strategy also. But as you go through your customer discovery, if you find that the entry level market is not really willing to buy, then you'll have to pivot and try and find some other market segment, right? So basically, you want to go ahead and target uh, customer segments that are not targeted by mainstream, physical designers. Okay, great, good. So I hope the class understands a little bit more about uh, how you go about looking for long tail opportunities in your market segment. Is there any question about it
Yeah, sir.
by the class?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is, a company like Apple, it produces MacBooks and iPads and iPhones, and I love each and every one of its products, and I would like to have one. But the point is, they are very expensive. So, would you say that the only people it targets is costly? I mean, it only makes costly products, so it only targets rich people. So, is it a long tail? I mean, would you say it like that, or is it more difficult?
Yeah, so actually, that's a very good question because Apple deliberately targets a long tail, and their long tail is characterized by people who are very fashion conscious, who are very ergonomic conscious, and are willing to pay for quality, right? And that market segment is typically maybe 5% or 10% of any market. On the other hand, because they've got such good design and such good marketing, they go ahead and they've made their small niche market into almost mainstream. And that's why they become one of the largest and most profitable companies in the whole world, because they took their long tail, which was people who wanted high quality for a good price, and they made everybody want it. Because anybody who has a smartphone or an iPod uh, really wants to have Apple, right? Because it just has the right feeling. And so they have made their tiny market segment the quality conscious consumer, and they have grown that quality conscious consumer to a very large number of people. But it's still only about 20-25%. It's not 100% of the marketplace. And but it has certainly made them the richest and most profitable company in the whole world. So good question, but you can see that even the biggest companies are really long tail companies that have become semi-mainstream. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good question. Very good question. Any other questions about long tail?
Yes, sir. One more question.
Yes.
From a long tail, essentially being starting in small pieces, small niche markets, then expanding them and probably expanding them into other markets as well. So what if there's another competitor which already has a good hold in the other markets? How do you expand into those markets? Let's say, for example, Amazon when it started in US, it started with only books. So similar to that, Flipkart did the same strategy, started with books here in India. Let's say if the Amazon already existed here, they probably didn't sell books here, but sold everything else other than books. Then how would a Flipkart try to expand into their market? They would have got gained traction, of course, but what else can they do? It's just pure competitiveness.
Yeah. So very good question. So again, you can see Amazon, which started off in the book long tail market, right? And in order to support that book long tail market, they came up with the Kindle for reading books electronically. So you can see that they basically took a niche market, established themselves, then they built up customer relationship with millions of consumers, and then they leveraged their customer relationship with millions of consumers because now they had their credit card, they provided one-click shopping, they had people coming to their website, and then they said, hey, now I also offer TVs, now I also offer consumer products, now I also offer furniture, so So basically, companies, use long tail to essentially go ahead and get a foot or an anchor in the ground. They get a foothold in the marketplace so that now they can uh, target other markets that are adjacent to it where they've got now a competitive advantage. So long tail gives you the time to build your fundamental business relationship. You get your factory in place, you get your ordering system in place, you get your IT in place, you get your list of customers, you know their buying habits, you got their credit cards, you know so much about it. Now you can keep expanding into another niche, another niche, another niche, another niche, and then you become a monster, right? If you look at it, Google does the same thing. They started off with search, but then from search, they bought YouTube. Now they took the fact that they already have a lot of advertising relationships because of search advertising, and they're saying, hey, why don't you put your ad on YouTube clips also? If you and I decided to create a video streaming business, we would have to go and find 1,000 advertisers, build a relationship with them before they'll start advertising on our video platform. But Google already had a relationship. So you can see that long tail does not mean that you're stuck in that little market that you started off with. It is just a strategy to go ahead and get a foothold in the marketplace from where you can expand your business. And for example, a lot of people, if you look at Monsanto, right? Monsanto provides GMO seeds. Have you heard of that? These are seeds that provide, very good insect-resistant crops, etc. Right? So what Monsanto did was, they went ahead and provided and told everybody, why don't you plant at least 5% of your land with our insect-resistant seeds? And then those insect-resistant seeds provided such beautiful corn that now the consumer says, I don't want to buy the old buttas that we used to get in India. I only want these massive corn or buttas, which have got no bugs. Every one of them has got 3 times as much corn as everybody else, and I don't see a single buttawala that is carrying the old Indian corn anymore. Did you notice that? So you can see how they took GMO seeds and now they've taken over the whole corn butta market in less than 5 years. In 5 years, and now the other thing that they did, which is an interesting angle, is that their GMO seed is such that you cannot take an existing GMO butta and take its corn and put it in the ground because nothing will grow. You have to buy the GMO corn seed from them every year, and that's how a company creates a monster business, right? They basically lock the farmer because they lock the consumer who loves that particular product. So the farmer has no choice but to go ahead and buy the GMO seeds. So that's how long tail marketing becomes mainstream marketing. You can imagine how big Monsanto's corn seed business has become in India as well as all over the world, because no consumer now wants to buy non-GMO corn. And the same thing, they are now going to replicate with cucumbers. I don't know if you noticed, but all the cucumbers have now become Persian cucumbers, the green ones. Our old white cucumbers are gone. And they are in one or two more years, you won't see a single white cucumber, because all of them will be that small green cucumbers, because essentially the people that this is actually from Persia or Iran. From Iran, it went to USA. It took over the market in USA, and now it's taking over the market in India and Japan, India and China and the whole world. So you can see how long tail becomes main tail or becomes a big thing, and just it makes basically the entrepreneur that started that into a super rich billionaire. I mean, this is the way that essentially entrepreneurs become very big companies. Um, so basically, long tail, understanding that the mechanism of how long tail works is very important for an entrepreneur, because when you, all of you, I would say, have come up with project plans which are existing businesses, but on the other hand, all existing businesses have got market niches which an entrepreneur can target, because it's not targeted by the existing big vendors. And if you target it and then have a long tail strategy to make it into mainstream, you take over the market, you become the new leader, right? So I want you to all think about how your projects are going to leverage the long tail strategy. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next.
Raj,
Yes.
maybe I'll little bit just chime in some small pace over here.
So, I mean, your question was more like, I'm also from a direction of the Amazon and Flipkart, the way they started. And if you see, there is a stark comparison, how the product moves in terms of from a, they Flipkart's Amazon started with books and then went all over. And then Flipkart started books in one category, and then they move all over, right? If you see, the same kind of phenomena happens in multiple products. For example, search. There are a lot of search companies. How was with one of the leaders 12 years back, 15 years back. What Yahoo did, they perfected the search piece. But then what did he? Moment, whatever he said, that soft trend becomes a hard trend, right? You land and then expand. So you perfect one category, you own the customer, you create a firewall so that the customer experience is very tight. Moment you are comfortable with each other, then I try to give you some other things, right? So right from search, then I go for the other stuff, and then maps, and then chat, and then mail, and all those things can start coming in. So I'm expanding my offering, just like Amazon expanded the offering, they also did. Now, what Flipkart did comparison to Amazon, they started books. What Google did, before Google, all there were these search engines, Yahoo was also there, was a dominant player. What Yahoo did, out of that whole clutter that it was offering, Google had a very powerful search engine. Even though it was a cluttered space, there were at least 15 search engines, Yahoo was a dominant player. What Google did, took a small niche, a very targeted niche, offered into a very different way, and extremely efficient. They were very strong. And the way of delivery was, if the Yahoo is completely cluttered, now also Google is only one, only search. Right? On the Google page, if you still launch, 15 years have gone by, but it's only search. So they took only one part, as he was talking about it, right? But it was delivered differently, packaged differently, and was efficient also. By that, they started scaling the customers from Yahoo to Google. The basic premise is it has to be efficient. Otherwise, nothing will happen. They started selling the customers. The moment Google got into a thick relationship, they also started offering other stuff ancillary, not on the main page. The mechanism was different, but they started offering maps, chat, all other stuff they started offering. Again, what happened? Because of the technology changes, because of the things, change around, the smartphone revolution came in. The moment the smartphone revolution came in, the time was exactly right for a company like WhatsApp to take only one feature out of it. Right? The chat was available. Chat was available right from Yahoo days, Google days. For 20 years, the chat was available. But because of the technology changes, Yahoo, the WhatsApp sensed the opportunity and only created, only put that small niche long tail. And that we will deliver the chat in a ubiquitous, on all phones, a very simple experience, not a complicated experience. And because they only targeted that very, very small niche, nothing more than that. They did nothing. They did offer like math and things and that and all those things. But still they created $18 billion valuation. So that's what he's talking about. That in terms of like, how you create the relationship, then you land, after you land, then you expand. After expanding, then in some areas, like Google came in, moment Google came in after that, WhatsApp came in, this type of, and he talked in the initial lectures in terms of the technology changes that happen, or whatever the systemic changes happen, geography changes, what happens. All those changes will create a unique set of opportunity to deliver a particular offering. And that's where that entrepreneurship is. Otherwise, standard way, as your question was, how can a Flipkart get an opportunity when Amazon is already there? So if Yahoo was already there, where is the opportunity for Google?
Essentially, it's about building better customer relationships with your products.
Yes, but then a unit. You cannot go all over it. Google cannot offer all 100 services what Yahoo offers. That's the difference. Eventually it will. Eventually it will. But again, Google was slow in terms of anticipating what smartphone offered in terms of the chat. So only one piece out of that 100 pieces, very niche, very targeted, WhatsApp picked up and created a company out of it. So that's where he's trying to come on in terms of the long tail. Sure. Sorry.
Great. Okay, so uh, the next business model that is important to understand is something called multi-sided market. So, and this is again a very recent innovation. So in this multi-sided market, what has happened is that, I just put the slide up. So in the multi-sided market, or multi-sided platforms, what you have is somebody who connects the buyer or the consumer with the vendor, and he makes a little bit of money from both sides in order to get to take care of as the fee for his platform. So if you look at Amazon has got two businesses. One is where they ship you the product from their own warehouse, and when the consumer places an order on Amazon and Amazon ships it from their own warehouse, it's a single-sided platform. But Amazon sometimes gives you the option of buying the book from a third-party book vendor. And so they'll say you can buy the book from me, or you can buy from a third-party vendor, and we don't care. And the third-party vendor might even be cheaper. And so you can buy from whomever you want. And the reason why Amazon does not care is because they end up making 5 or 8% for just taking the order. They don't have to ship, they don't have to take the returns, they don't have to do customer care, they don't have to take the questions. They just connect the consumer with the shop. So with this multi-sided platform, essentially, even though Amazon makes less revenue from the consumer, they make more return on investment, because there is virtually no investment that the Amazon has to do for that particular transaction. The platform is already there, and the consumer does the transaction with the vendor, with the shopkeeper who's on their website, and it works. Now, what's interesting is why couldn't the shopkeeper sell directly to the consumer? And the reason is because to reach a long tail customer is very expensive, because basically you just can't figure out who it is, and he's not interested in. Most consumers are not going to go to 1,000 websites for the 1,000 different products that they're going to need. They would like to buy all 1,000 products from one website. So for if basically all these 1,000 or million companies that sell niche products had their own websites, basically they would never be found by the consumer. So because the consumer is concerned, whenever you do electronic e-commerce, you're worried about the consumer, the vendor's reliability, his billing system, whether your credit card is safe with him, or whether it is some sort of company that is going to steal your credit card, who may take your money and not ship the product, or they might ship a bad product and you cannot return it. So all these questions are eliminated by the multi-sided platform, because Amazon enforces uniformity in terms of the transaction between the consumer and any vendor that they are willing to participate in the multi-sided platform. So Amazon makes money without any investment, and the vendor finds customers, and the consumer has a choice of products. Sometimes I've bought books from a third-party vendor because it is 30% cheaper, and or I can take a used book and it becomes 60% cheaper, because I don't care if somebody has read the book before. What difference does it make to me? So the consumer gets some benefits, Amazon gets benefits, and the vendor gets benefits. So these multi-sided platforms is a new innovation that has entered the marketplace. eBay does the same thing. They provide multi-sided platform for auctioning. Obviously, basically, Amazon and Flipkart provide it for retail, and there are similar multi-sided platforms in other industries too. The next business model to understand is free as a business model. What's amazing is that, again, this is a business model that did not exist 20 years ago. How can you make money with something that's given away for free? For example, this particular video conference that we are doing is free. Can you imagine how much this would have cost about 5 years ago? 5 years ago, this video conference, high definition, two-way video conference for 1 hour would have probably cost about 5,000 rupees. And right now, it is free. And previously, not Airtel, but MTNL and others would have come in and would have installed different video cameras and provided different telephone lines, and then you had to set up for the exact time, how long it would be, and then they would have some operator who would be managing the quality and everything else, and set up the call, which is a two-way PBX, and they would have charged over 5,000 rupees. More likely, they would have charged 25,000 rupees for this 2-hour high-definition two-way video conference. And today, it's free. And VNIT and I are spending 0 rupees to give you this amazing video conferencing facility. And the question is, what is this free about? Why is it free? And how come people who are offering this free service are not going broke? And that is the beauty of this whole free model, because the companies that are offering this free service have become the most valuable companies in the whole world. So companies like Skype, companies like Hotmail, companies like WhatsApp, companies like Facebook, companies like Google Search, companies like YouTube have become the most valuable companies in the world with hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. And the reason is because now they control the consumer or the user of these services, which means that they have share of mind of the consumer, of hundreds of millions of consumers. And now these hundreds of millions of consumers become their advertising advertising target. So for example, this particular video conference on entrepreneurship course, it's being streamed not only to VNIT, but it's also going on YouTube on Air, which is a public stream, and millions of people can watch it if they wanted to. Obviously, nobody's watching it because I can see that there are 0 viewers on YouTube on Air. But if say Amitabh Bachchan was doing a video stream, guess what? There would be 1 million viewers, and YouTube would suddenly make a lot of money from that particular stream, right? So what YouTube is betting on, or Google is betting on, is that 1 out of every 100 or 1,000 free video conferences that they do will generate a boatload of money, and that will subsidize or pay for everything else. So if you look at it, but guess what? By doing this free thing, they have driven the competition out of the market. There is no competitor left for two-way high-definition video conferencing, and like Google probably owns 95% or maybe even 99% of high-definition one-way and two-way video streaming online. They've got trillions and trillions of hours of video that is archived on YouTube, and number of clips and viewers, and now people can just search and they can find things on a long tail basis. So Google, their game plan is to enable long tail in everything. Long tail in information searching through search, long tail in video streaming, video clip searching, long tail. Wherever long tail can be enabled on a massive scale, they want to own it all. So you can see how free as a business model allows you to become almost like a de facto monopoly. And any de facto monopoly becomes incredibly valuable over time. Now, it required close to $2 billion worth of YouTube investment in YouTube streaming before YouTube got to break even. But now, after 10 years, they got to break even. And in the last 5 years, YouTube has become one of the most profitable businesses at Google. So you can see that, if you have a long-term vision for a free business model market, you can become, an incredible monopoly that can then be harvested for the next 50 years, right? So that's a strategy that Facebook is playing. Twitter is playing, LinkedIn is playing, Pinterest is playing, Snapchat is playing, WhatsApp is playing, and you can see how these properties become incredibly valuable. Okay, then the second last business model that I want to talk about is, hang on. Is something called open as a business model. So if you see, let me ask you, do any of you know of any open companies that have become very successful? What's an open company? Any idea? Give me examples of open companies or open products. Is Linux open? Is Ubuntu open? So all of these are open because not only do you get the use of the application, but you also get the source code. When you get the source code for actually building that particular service for free, now that is free and open, because now as an engineer, you can take that particular service or product and make it even better or customize to your application. And if you look at almost a lot of software products are now open. So if you look at the C language, if you look at Java, if you look at Ubuntu operating system, you look at Hadoop for developing applications, PHP, if you look at all of these software are open software. And guess what? Microsoft was always a closed software environment. You know, you can't get your hands on Windows operating system, can you? You can't get your hands on Microsoft languages like BASIC and COBOL and Pascal and Microsoft BASIC. They don't, or Microsoft C. They don't let you have get your hands on the source code. But the people that wanted to compete with Microsoft started offering the operating system for free. So once Linux was free, it has now become the #1 operating system in the world, much bigger than Windows. Once C became free, it became the #1 language for writing code. Once Java became open, it became the #1 application. So you can see that one way to break and into a market is to say, you know what, I'm going to develop this operating system or language or software product or software utility, and I'm going to make it available for free. So Wikipedia is an example of open. You can go ahead and create this, keep improving this encyclopedia, and it's open. And the thing is that it just gets better, 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 better. And does any of you now ever go to the Encyclopedia Britannica? Do you ever go to Encyclopedia Britannica? But do you know for 200 years, Encyclopedia Britannica was the world's best encyclopedia. And in less than 10 years, Wikipedia has destroyed Encyclopedia Britannica, which was a 200-year-old property. Can you see the power of open? See, that is the brilliance of open. So the question is, how do you make money from open? What's interesting is that Wikipedia, since it's become the world's #1 encyclopedia, now has billions of users who use Wikipedia. And one day, Wikipedia will start putting ads. the day it puts ads, it'll start generating $5 to $10 billion worth of advertising revenue. Facebook was free, and then for 10 years they invested $2 billion or more to develop the market, develop the user base, and then it became an advertising platform. And now it is generating, it's become one of the most profitable companies, generating about $20 billion in revenue every year and growing almost 30 to 40% year over year, and has become a company worth hundreds of billions of dollars. So you can see that and free are very, very powerful strategies that allow you to build a monster company, and you can really break into amazing market situations. The last thing I want to talk about in terms of business model is Uber, because Uber is really the on-demand sharing market, right? That provides on-demand access to unused assets, which is distributed in the user base. And this Uber is a new business model which is less than 5 years old, and this business model is probably going to completely disrupt a whole bunch of even existing business models, and it's going to provide direct connection between user of the product and the supplier of that small niche product, and all of a sudden markets that were supposed to be safe, like Encyclopedia Britannica, are destroyed. Right? So you can see that there are new business models that are continuously being thought of and evolved. But as an entrepreneur, these are the 7 or 8 business models that you need to think about as you start developing your respective companies. Okay, so coming on to the next slide. So the next slide, which I'll just cover very quickly right now, but we'll do in more detail tomorrow. The class tomorrow is at 10 o'clock, guys, 10 in the morning. And I hope all of you are there by 10 minutes to 10. Okay. Anyway, so for an entrepreneur, the important thing is to become very professional at doing customer discovery, because this customer discovery is something that you will have to do at all stages of building your company. You'll have to do customer discovery when you're doing product requirements, when you're trying to figure out what are the requirements of the product. When you're trying to figure out what are the system requirements. You're trying to figure out, which markets and which user base and which demographic can use your product. You need to do customer discovery by figuring out the competition, where the customer is, and what price he's going to be willing to pay, and what is the competition selling the product at, and what is his sales strategy at selling it. So all of these different aspects of customer discovery, not only during the early stage, but even as you're building your company, you'll be doing customer discovery to continuously pivot and fine-tune your product and your business. All of this is mandatory for an entrepreneur, and I will share with you tomorrow how I did customer discovery for all of these different aspects of my company, and which is what ultimately enabled Dino, Selectica, Opti to become successful in our respective industries. Okay, so I think it's almost 8 o'clock, and the main thing is I want you to, as a do some thinking about what are the things that you want to discover for your projects from the customer. Okay, and then how you're going to use which business models to figure out, uh, how you're going to start, validating and building your company. Are there any questions? You're asking a question, people will come and sit in the front.
Sir,
Yeah.
can I get more reading materials on explanation of this business models? Because even after the whole lecture, I feel that our business model qualifies for almost every one of the business models there was. So to pinpoint it to a specific one, to identify it to a specific one, can we get some reading material somewhere so we could yeah, categorize it better?
Okay, so good question. So first of all, we need to help you get your hands on this book by Steve Blank on the startup business. So that's one thing. But all the material that's in his book is already on his website. So if you go to Steve Blank's website, you will find that that there is a lot more description and explanation for each of these different business models. But you can also do Google search and look for what are product innovation models, what is a long tail model, so these are all very standard MBA material. And if you do searches on Google, you should be able to find a lot of self-learned information. But I would recommend also asking questions because everybody's projects are unique, and applying the learnings to your project, requires discussion with experienced people. So Professor Shashi, myself, the other professors can help you a little bit along the way.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
actually, I wanted to know the difference between the Uber model and the customer relationship model.
Which model?
Uber model and the customer relationship model.
Okay, so Uber is also changing the customer relationship between the taxi driver and the consumer, right? So basically, for transportation, we all used to use a taxi or an auto. And now with Uber, we are using an app which connects us with somebody that Uber has certified as a good driver and has a good vehicle. So Uber changed the customer relationship between us and the person providing transportation service, correct? Now, Uber as a business model is interesting because they don't own any taxis or any physical assets. But the business model essentially provide a connecting service, a matching service. And that matching service allows people who have got assets, for example, the Uber driver who owns a car, So allows that Uber driver to use unused assets to make them available to you on a high confidence basis, right? So Uber is actually a kind of a unique kind of customer relationship model where it allows for on-demand sharing of resources. So Uber is obviously changing the customer relationship, but it does a little bit more, which is provides on-demand sharing, which is a variety of customer relationships.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, in the pre-model, we were talking about Wikipedia and how it can earn money by giving ads. But in the Linux system, they cannot give ads. So how are they operating right now?
Very good question. So people that provide open source like Linux or Ubuntu or whatever are very successful companies like Red Hat Software, right? And Red Hat Software today is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, may even be worth $1 billion. And the reason why they do it is because they become the expert in Linux, and they provide customization services. They provide professional services. They provide maintenance. So they provide a whole bunch of additional services to a very large user base because with Linux being free and becoming so popular, somebody or the other is going to need maintenance. Somebody or the other is going to need documentation. Somebody or the other is going to need customization. So by providing these additional services, they build their company. So they don't make their money on Linux. They make their money on supporting capabilities. So it's a very unique way of it. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Maybe
Sir, when we talk about this open source and free market models, so aren't these type of companies actually shrinking the whole market, like the value of whole market? So is that not happening with this? Like, whole market is getting shrunk.
I don't know whether it's getting shrunk or expanded. Nobody can tell, right? I mean, if we all had to only use Windows operating system, that would be shrinkage because we only have one operating system. Now, because of Linux, you can have, and it's being an open source, you can have 100 varieties of Linux. In fact, Ubuntu and others are versions of Linux, right?
Yeah.
So basically, when you have this open source, it actually expands the market because now engineers can create custom operating systems for industrial use, for IoT use, for consumer applications, for e-commerce platforms. So basically, when you actually do open source, you expand the market.
Yeah, sir, by in terms of usage, definitely it expands, but in terms of valuation, like actually talking about the money. So what when all the operating systems were paid and all, so operating systems used to make by selling their operating systems, and now which they are making, so it has gotten it has got shrunk. Like people are spending less money on operating system overall. So,
They may be spending less on the operating system, but they're spending a lot more on maintenance and services and customization and teaching people how to use Linux. So remember, there's a lot of ancillary industries that develop around the free product. So if you look at Google's at search, search used to be a very expensive business. I mean, 20 years ago, and Brother Shashi can tell you, we all used to spend close to 10,000 rupees to have access to scientific and engineering documentation and papers and research papers. 10,000 rupees, and so we could only afford, IIT could only afford maybe 5 or 10 different licenses. But now, Google search provides free access to not uh, 10,000 research papers, but 10 billion research papers, free. But guess what? The total amount of usage has exploded, which has resulted in an opportunity for Google to make 10 times the money on advertising. Right? So basically, when you do free and open, you are exponentially expanding the market. See, how many people could afford Encyclopedia Britannica? But now, because of Wikipedia, it's on your fingertip. And we are all becoming so much smarter and have access to so much knowledge on any topic because of Wikipedia, right? So you can see that free and open are like magic, and they basically are game changers. They change the world, and you can never go back. And once, if you're offering a service and then it becomes free, you better figure out how to adapt very quickly because you cannot fight free with a paid product.
So that's another leading question. So, sir, when we do our calculations in these kinds of models, so shouldn't we consider the market like initially the market we consider as the current market, the current model where people are selling and all. But then if we are a new business and we are trying to disrupt the whole chain, so shouldn't the market size be considered as the one which will be leading after we have done our thing? Like if we say you say that say earlier it was like 10,000 rupees per month you used to spend on the searches, and but then say Google Anderson, and when it plans the market, so should its calculation be 10,000 into number of institutions, or should it be the total market size? Because after it has been free, so the market size, the value of that particular niche thing has actually come down. So because lot of business models which you calculate now like in initial stages is only based on the current market and the current current where we can sell it now, not after the change.
That's a very, very good question. So basically, you know, your business model, you know, will be validated in some market niche product, right? You're going to validate the need, etc., in a market niche product. So you're not going to disrupt. It's not easy to disrupt a big existing market in the first year or the second year. So disruption happens after you've established yourself. So what you have to do is the, the big commitment and investment from venture capitalists comes not for your niche market. That will come only for once they understand the big vision.
Yeah.
So you have to go ahead and project the big vision. But the roadmap to get there is long tail. Okay? And when you do long tail, you've got to be able to truly justify how you're going to make it into a viable business. So it's going to be viable at the long tail level and then disrupting the big market.
So similarly, if you see the Android, right? So Android again free, talking to the handsets became open, still open. Free. Now, if you see Android is getting everywhere. Android is getting the smart TVs. Android is getting the fridge. Even Android is getting into the infotainment of automobiles. So all the IoT based things. What are the essential ingredients? It's coming. Very small footprint, open source operating systems, and then on the top of this, Android supports. And that's where the market is exponentially expanding. Otherwise, it is only started with the handset. But if you see the spectrum now, it's in all segments, and slowly, because it's open and free, And because the world is going towards smart and connected, you see taking it. Nobody will realize this. And what Raj said, and one of the confusion you had in your mind, that you have your models, you feel that your offering fits into every model. So maybe on a vision basis, it might, because after you learn and expand, it might be. But from a simplicity perspective, when you start, when you enter the market, that's where you try to find out where your model, initial model. Because afterwards it will change. Otherwise you will always get confused about, because your product can serve the base type of offering, or it can get into infrastructure, or it can into product innovation, or it can get into a customer relationship. But that will go after at a vision point. But when you get into, that's what he's asking you to think, that where it fits into. Right at the initial level, you might want to take it to a larger level. You want to know. So one more question.
Yeah.
It's not a question like I just found the hack key or how they open those cells. So Google Maps gives us API, like you can use the API everywhere. If the Google Maps wouldn't have done it, so there is no Ola, there is no Uber. So Ola runs just on app. So I just want to add that. And I think defining this model help in refining our business plans. And then
Yeah. So I think again, that's the second point, making it open, because there are a lot of ecosystem players who want to leverage that open source, and then they create the business out of it. A lot of companies who are creating different, otherwise Uber would be difficult to exist. Ola would be very difficult to exist. A lot of stuff is going to be happening because this is an open access to this. Anybody else?
Great. So tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Okay, guys? Okay.
Chalo.
Bye.
Meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Chalo. Bye.